On this week's NFV SDN Reality Check, we speak with Nokia to discuss the operator benefits of the company's Cloud Packet Core platform and how it fits into 5G network plans.
We live in a world that's increasingly connected. More people, places, and things are connecting to the network than ever before. This presents both an opportunity and a challenge for operators as they look to offer new services while facing increasing competitive pressures. At Nokia, we understand the challenges operators face in building and managing networks to meet our evolving needs. It goes beyond the virtualization of core network functions offered by the competition with an architecture that's cloud native. With the Nokia Cloud Packet Core as the cornerstone of a converged mobile and fixed network, operators can profitably deliver new mobile broadband and IoT services today with a platform that provides an evolution to 5G. Operators can flexibly configure their packet core to support network slicing along with centralized or distributed deployment models to meet the performance and latency requirements of real-time next-generation services. Nokia's Cloud Packet Core delivers the massive scalability, agility, and performance to meet the growth and service requirements of IoT MTC and mobile broadband, anchors multi-access connectivity, enabling converged services over wireless and fixed networks. It also lowers operators' packet core total cost of ownership and provides a cloud-native design that supports the evolution path to 5G. Nokia is working with operators to profit from new opportunities while cost-effectively evolving with confidence. For more information, contact your Nokia sales representative or go to the Nokia Cloud Packet Core website.
I'm your host, Dan Meyer, Editor-in-Chief at RCR Wireless News. And this week we're joined by Nick Dugan, who's the Director of Product Marketing for Cloud at Nokia, to talk a bit about the topic of cloud and NFV and SDN. But hey, Nick, thanks for joining us this week. We appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be here, Dan. Thanks very much indeed.
Very good. Well, obviously, the telecom industry over the past couple of years and over several decades has evolved quite a bit. And I know a lot is happening in the market. Obviously, there's a lot going on in terms of different technologies and different generational technologies happening right now. I guess from you guys, maybe get a little, overview on what's kind of driving industry change right now. What are you guys seeing in terms of really the big drivers for what's causing a lot of this movement in the industry?
Yeah, I think the best way I kind of sum it up, or trying to put a marker around it, Dan, is we're kind of at an inflection point. That's, we're moving to an age of automation and a connected life. A digital world everywhere, and everything it's connected, it augments, and it aids our daily lives. And I think, what does that really mean? It's a great marketing, conversation, but what does that mean? I think, given in the context of this conversation, it talks about, we talked about ubiquitous mobile, but I think in reality, that really talks about ultra broadband, because that's where it's coming, that's where we're going. And when we're talking about this ultra broadband, we need to support a diverse set of services and applications. And more equally importantly, we're talking about multiple segments and verticals. And I think that's an interesting point here. We will continue to see growth in consumer mobile. We all know that. We all know that's going to happen. But what we are now going to see is new opportunities in areas such as residential, the industrials, the verticals, however you want to call them, enterprises, governments, and cities and smart city grids. They're all going to come on. They're all going to need to be connected on this ultra broadband environment. But then you've got to take a step back as well and think, okay, as we go to this age of automation and connected life, it's all about software as well. And software will also drive a real change. And I think, the context here is, what we talk about Internet of Things, machine type communications, MTC. this will force an evolution of the business and network investment and operational processes. And what do I mean by that? It will ignite the opportunity to open up new revenue sources. Okay, but where we've talked about consumer mobile in the past being heavily about connecting the consumer mobile user to the internet, IoT MTC will be primarily about connecting devices to the enterprise. All right, so this is different. And also, we'll be talking about a magnitude of order of increase in the number of connected devices. We're not talking tens of millions. We're, talking, choose your number.
Yes.
Basic.
How many zeros?
It's going to be hundreds of millions, going to be billions, whatever. It's going to be an order of magnitude greater. And when we think about it, the methods that we've used to work for and connect, tens of million subscribers, these are not going to suffice when we talk about this, massively inordinate larger number of devices and users. And then the other thing to think about is, IoT services and applications, they're going to place a diverse range of service requirements and characteristics onto the network. If we think about, historically our mobile networks, they've been really about the human with a device, starting off with voice, adding some data, moving primarily to data. But if you think about now is all these IoT or MTC services and applications coming online, and also think about the expansion of ultra broadband into the residential, the industrials, and the governments, etc. It's going to, the range of service characteristics is going to be completely diverse. We're not building one network for one service and application anymore. And I think that's really a big change for us. And then we talk about 5G. We have this 5G on the horizon, what the industry is talking about. And if we think about it, 5G is looking to enable an increasingly more diverse set of services and applications with an incredibly wide range of requirements, which is going to basically further exacerbate the problem. So we really are in a very, very dynamic environment. And those are the challenges that are facing organizations that are now deploying these networks. Because it's not only communication service providers now, but as we go into the verticals, the enterprise, the governments and public sector, a whole new range of organizations are looking to leverage this mobile or with ultra broadband, to actually create and leverage it from a business opportunity.
Interesting.
And the other point to think about is, as we talk about these diverse service requirements and these new markets and applications, we'll actually, from an ultra broadband perspective, and actually from an IoT MTC, when you think about it, we'll actually need to deliver these services across a wide range of fixed and wireless technologies. All right, so we're not just talking about wireless license, we're talking about wireless licensed and unlicensed, we're talking about shared, we're talking about fixed. All right, and what we've got to think about is, to deliver this ubiquitously, we're going to have to use and leverage these fixed and wireless technologies either individually or together, and actually concurrently combine the technologies to deliver the services and the applications. So to deliver this converged service and experience, to support an extensive personalization. And personalization is an interesting word, because the personalization could actually be a device, not necessarily a human. So this is what we are really talking about it. And I think, the industry is looking at cloud technologies, including NFV, network functions virtualization, and software-defined networking, as the key enablers to deliver an agile platform for service innovation and delivery. But I think we need to also think beyond these enablers to understand what is required by the virtual network functions themselves. How are they going to operate in this environment?
Interesting. You mentioned kind of early on there the inflection point part of this, and that's something I hope people don't dismiss, because I know in this industry, and I've been covering it for 17, 18 years now, and that word gets used a lot. But it's really become a point though where you hope people understand that really we are coming to that point now where things are really changing. I mean, it's not again just a new generation of technology serving the same basic customer base with maybe higher speeds and things like that. This is really an evolution, a revolution, whatever how you want to look at it, of how networks are going to perform out there. And again, like you said, it's not going to be just the same old, hey, new network, higher speeds, there we go. It's bringing together everything, like everybody says, in the toolbox to support all of this. And there's so much involved there. The thought about that happening, it's got to be, not to be overwhelming, but it's so much on your plate, and technology-wise, it is, like, again, it's that inflection point where things are really going to be changing.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I really do. And I think the industry as a whole is wrestling with how this is going to happen, what makes sense, how are we going to move forward here in practicality and an efficient and cost-effective manner. I mean, it's all about, the way we kind of think about it at Nokia around packet core, cloud packet core, and as we go on to 5G next generation core, we all think about it's all about profit from opportunity, but cost effectively evolve with confidence. And I think that's really what we are about at Nokia now, moving this forward.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I guess maybe talk a little bit about the fact that, I guess your cloud platform there, because that is going to be key to a lot of this. Like you said earlier, software is going to be a big part of this whole change, and being able to kind of get everything to work together. We can't use the same old methods we've used in the past. It's going to require a whole new architecture, a whole new way of looking at things.
Yeah.
I guess from your point of view, Nokia's point of view, what does this cloud native packet core platform bring to the table? How is it going to be able to piece all of this together into a coherent package that operator, an IT guy, can actually deploy and be comfortable with?
Yeah, I think this is where I think we at Nokia come across as pragmatic, trusted partners, and we do view this as a partnership with the industry, all right, and with our customer base. But I think, just taking a little step back, I think the industry has jumped on sort of this technical evolution. You may have heard the term virtualization or network functions virtualization. It's the term. But what does that mean? What does that really mean? And we at Nokia, we're a leading mobile vendor, and we're also a leading IP networking vendor, an innovator, given what happened earlier this year. And with the bringing together of Nokia and Alcatel-Lucent into this new Nokia, and we took a step back and said, okay, what do we really need to do? What are we having to enable? Diverse, and we realized that virtualization on its own will not deliver the firm economic and network foundation for these organizations, okay? If organizations are to develop a successful IoT MTC or UBB business or deploy those networks, we need to look at this. And that's what we did. We took a step back and we said, these organizations are going to need, moving forward, they will need the ability to respond to business opportunity and network demand in minutes or hours, not weeks and months, which is where we've been.
Yes.
And this will require the embracing of cloud technologies, architectures, and operations. But what we said is, yeah, okay. But we then went and took the next step and said, okay, we went along with the reevaluation of how the packet core, all these next-gen cores, software functions are architected, will be deployed, and interoperate And this is what we call about moving to a cloud native architecture. It really is. And NFV and SDN will be are then underlying technologies on which the cloud native innovation will reside and leverage. And I think the points to think about here is one, we will need this innovation on our 4G networks. All right, so this is not, a lot of people have said, oh, this is 5G, and no, we will need this innovation on these 4G networks. Obviously, in preparedness for the arrival of 5G services and applications. And don't forget, 5G services and applications, or if we are to deliver this range of UB, ultra broadband and IoT MTC, actually our 4G networks have to be multi-access now. All right, we've got to converge and bring all this together. And that's where we went with the Nokia. That's sort of the underlying direction of where we went with the Cloud Packet Core. It's a flexible multi-access technology. Today we can deliver the multi-access technology, and it leverages this cloud native architectures and technologies. We use the term cloud native packet core. And this will all be about enabling the embracement of new opportunities and the ability to simultaneously deliver a multitude of services with the necessary quality of experience. Okay, so I think we are at that point where we need to innovate. We have got to move forward. We have got to leverage the cloud where appropriate, build these new enablers to drive and give the organizations the whole ability to profit from the opportunity, and then cost effectively evolve with confidence. And that's really is what we think about here.
Interesting. And obviously, like you said too, I know the cost aspect of all this is really important as well. I know a lot of operators, that's a big part for them, and it gets brought up a lot. That's kind of a key driver for a lot of this here. I guess as you look at maybe the key benefits of obviously of the platform you guys have, I mean, what are those design benefits of this platform? It seems like obviously opening up a lot of opportunities for operators, allowing them to manage their networks better. I guess what do you guys see as some of those key benefits of the platform then for operators?
Well, I think from a benefits perspective, you need to understand and think about how the core actually has to work, all right, what it needs to do. So we designed it with the cloud native architecture and concepts. We use the term, we need to move beyond just virtualized, because virtualized is not going to get us there. We've got to go to cloud native to take full advantage of the cloud environment. So what do we mean by that? Well, it's all about leveraging cloud data stores to hold user device session data, which provides greater resiliency, scalability, and also deployment flexibility. We've got to have the appropriate software disaggregation to meet the requirements of the 4G packet core operation, and looking forward to the 5G next gen core. We have to have this in mind as we move forward. Mm-hmm. We also looked at how the packet core software functions process, but do it in a state efficient manner. Why is this important? Because this delivers the greater resource efficiency and compute resource efficiency, which helps the overall TCO business case. So it's all about maximizing the efficiency of the compute resource and also the performance of the compute resource as well, because operators are now realizing this TCO is impacting their ability to deploy these new IoT, MTC, UBB services and applications. And we've got to think about centralized and distributed deployment architectures, because you have a driver for a smart meter MTC application is very different to something like a connected car or something like that. So you've got to have centralized and distributed deployments and the ability to do it. We've got this term network slicing has been used in the market, and I think we do need this because we do need it for services management and monetization. But what we in Nokia think about is, okay, you can sort of slice the network, but because we can use this compute resource efficiency and ability to reallocate compute resource, we can also move that compute resource across slicing. So we really do give the operator the ability, sorry, I should say, I said operator, but it should be organizations, because fundamentally that's what we're dealing with. The ability to be very agile and flexible in how they want to deploy. And then, of course, you need the flexibility around cloud deployment options. You know, you've got to be able to match the organization's business, operational, and deployment requirements. I kind of think about it in like a cloud maturity. Where on the cloud maturity curve is a particular organization or a particular service or a deployment architecture? We will need to be able to have a range of deployment operations. Then we've got to talk about, obviously, the IoT innovation to deliver the massive scalability. And then we've also got the multi-access, which we touched upon. You know, we've got licensed, unlicensed, shared, fixed. The whole thing has to be brought together. And one last point of innovation that we looked at from a cloud packet core perspective is we actually have a very, very feature-rich, field-proven router software system called SROS, Service Router Operating System, the Nokia Service Router. Well, we had that ability to integrate that in. All right. And why is that important? Because this delivers a range of differentiating capabilities to support IoT and ultra broadband applications. Think about it. IoT MTC is about connecting to the enterprise. All right. How do you connect into enterprise private networks and all the rest of that and that sort of thing? How do we deliver ultra broadband? What technologies do we need to be able to manage and handle? Because we've got a range of access technologies, all right? So all this goes into play and all builds into the business case. So really thinking about it, the Nokia packet core, it goes beyond just virtualization on the server infrastructure, okay? You know, we're looking at addressing key issues such as the inflexible, inefficient resource utilization, which, you know, we've heard from the operators. This is directly impacting their TCO and their ability to deliver these new broadband IoT services. But so some tangible examples here. So what does that mean from an ultra broadband perspective? Okay, and looking forward to the 5G next gen core. Yeah. It's all about anchoring the converged service delivery across ultra broadband, wireless, and fixed access technologies. You know, for consumer mobile, for residential, for enterprise, industry, and vertical application. It's all about converged service delivery across this multi-access. So, you know, that means you've got to support mobile network evolution, 4G, 4.5G, 5G. We've got support for unlicensed spectrum, you know, moving beyond extensive support for Wi-Fi, but looking at other new unlicensed technologies that are coming online, all right? And we've got to support fixed access. How do we bring fixed access this? And I think what you to think about is Nokia has a portfolio of the necessary network gateway products, mobile and fixed, to make multi-access converged service delivery anchored in a common cloud packet core or 5G, you know, whether it be 4G or whether it be a 5G next generation core, a real reality. We can, you know, make this work and go forward. And this architecture also ensures that, you know, the organization can manage unpredictable changes in network and bandwidth consumption, and they can be effectively managed, along with, how do you expedite the placement of the appropriate disaggregated cloud packet core software functions, centralized, distributed, to meet the service requirements. An example of this is, just think of an event happening, all right? And all of a sudden, the network connectivity changes. The ability for the organization to move the resources in to manage that event, and then once it's over, reallocate, once again, comes back to efficiency of compute resource and the TCO.
Interesting.
And then you've got to blend that with IoT MTC. I mean, when you think about it, it's a whole range. We need the scalability, the massive scalability and flexibility to support the diverse range of applications. So, but when you think about it, we've got to support devices that are truly mobile or have limited or no mobility. You've got services and applications that are latency tolerant, intolerant, or require high bandwidth. The ability to efficiently and cost effectively support services and applications with small and infrequent data transmission, from static devices such as smart meters. And enabling connectionless service delivery, that can utilize the data plane and or the control plane. We've got a whole range of things that we have to think about, and the only way we can do it is by moving into this cloud native environment. And as I said, it's thinking about the enterprise. If you can directly connect all the enterprise connectivity, maybe the virtual private networks, directly onto the packet core device infrastructure. Well, that means the reduction of network elements for these deployments. Once again, helping to minimize network planning, failure, and interworking issues, and also the whole TCO, the business case for those deployment models. And I think, so this is where we see this path of cloud packet core. It really drives in the innovation. For the 4G networks, delivers the massive scalability, configurability, and performance for the evolution of ultra broadband and also IoT MTC. And it provides the foundation for the next generation core, because we have this in our minds to say it's all about 4G innovation, 5G preparedness, and this whole cloud native capabilities with the multi-access, the connectionless services, the IoT innovations, they all go forward into 5G and next generation core. And we will, we will build out on these capabilities, work with the industry with the various standards, and we will innovate in numerous areas to deliver the industry leading 5G next generation core.
It sounds like a lot of work there, obviously still ahead of you guys for all that. A lot of evolution going on there, but you kind of touched a bit on it already, but I guess, what are you hearing in terms of, from your industry, from the industry itself, in terms of, the vision on evolving the packet cores out there? Because again, a lot of operators have their packet cores already in place. They're working well in the current environments, but obviously they do need to be updated and upgraded and evolved. I guess, what are you hearing out there in terms of that movement there from operators and organizations, I guess is probably a better word, like you said earlier?
Yeah. I think the way I kind of look at it is the key will not be if organizations make this move, but when and how they make the move. All right. And this may vary across organizations, by the way. Communication service providers, the large ones, may move differently to maybe smaller communication service providers. Enterprises may have a different viewpoint, governments, verticals, etc. But I think it's all going to move, and they know that as they move forward with these new service opportunities, whether it be an IoT, MTC, very large driver, and even at ultra broadband, they realize that they have to move into this cloud environment. All right, to as their platforms moving forward. Yeah. And the technological capabilities are moving quickly. All right, but I think organizations need to be aware of the competitive implications of the revolutionary potential that the cloud native environments may hold for operations, services, business models, and business advantage and productivity. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. And it's also, there's a realization of long needed flexibility. Coming back to you, the point that you resonated earlier on, Dan, how do we do this? We're going to build this new one. We're going to build this new, they understand that they need flexibility if they are going to survive in this new environment. And organizations have been challenged to move quickly and adapt swiftly to customer market shifts, which is obviously one of their primary drivers.
Yeah.
One of the key advantages of the cloud environment is the ability to rapidly deploy, test new services to meet cloud-driven market requirements, and leverage a more flexible network for some organizations, time to market leadership. In other organizations, business advantage or productivity gains, depending on where they are. Mm-hmm. And I think what we are seeing is that the cloud native packet core is one of the primary mechanisms by which organization can achieve the benefits of the cloud, because it's architected and designed to capitalize and leverage on the cloud capabilities. And this benefits offered, this leverages the benefit and provides the benefits offered by these cloud environments. And I think, innovative organizations will embrace this cloud native packet core or cloud native direction for packet core so that they can innovate their current 4G networks along with multi-access. But the cloud native also provides foundation for moving on to 5G. Mm-hmm. And it's all about what's the business advantage, unlocking new operational efficiencies, and the ability to support bold moves within their businesses, because at the end of the day, that creates advantage. We've touched upon it, whether it's the residential, the public sector, the enterprise, the vertical markets, whether it's for ultra broadband or IoT MTC services or applications. This whole cloud native packet core enables the delivery of a broad range of compelling and converged services. And there's the key, it's converged across wireless and fixed multi-access technologies, for these ultra broadband and IoT networks, because let's think about it, the IoT MTC has to be connected. So it's going to be connected across these ultra broadband networks with 5G on the horizon. And I think, as they look forward they're looking forward to enable this automated and connected life or connected world, however you want to describe it. And I think they know the opportunity is there. They want to profit from it. Mm-hmm. But how do they cost effectively evolve, and in a manner that's of confidence? And I think that's where we at Nokia see ourselves as a trusted partner. Not only can we bring the technology to bear, we can bring the whole professional services to help them in this evolution. And I think that's going to be another key aspect as well, is how do we make these organizations comfortable that they can innovate, all right? And how do they move forward? And how can they profit from these new opportunities that are becoming available?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point you bring up on the final point there about just being comfortable in doing this, because I think operators, like you said, they realize they need to make these moves. Organizations, they have to make these moves, but they are such drastic moves that the comfort level for a lot of those people is not there yet. But to have someone that they can work with, who they've worked with before in the past, seems like that's going to be key to a lot of this, because it is a tricky move and it's scary for a lot of people, and this is a whole new evolution for these networks. So to have someone there to kind of not necessarily hold their hand, but walk them through the process. That's going to be very important to all this, to this kind of to this evolution that's going to happen.
And I think you're right. I think this comes to the point now with we at Nokia coming in and saying, okay, we've heard the market. The market has talked about all these diverse technologies, but how do you bring it together? And this is what we're doing with this whole cloud native strategy around packet core, moving forward to 5G NGC, and how do we bring the full brand of Nokia into play here to allow these organizations to migrate.
Yeah, interesting. So, hey, Nick, definitely appreciate the insight. Obviously, this is a very rapidly evolving market. A lot going on. A lot's happened already, but a lot more still to come. But definitely appreciate the insight on the topic today. Thanks so much for that. And hopefully we can touch base again soon on this as we kind of continue this evolution of the networks. But again, thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate it. Well, thanks for watching this week's show. And make sure to check out our next NFV SDN reality check when we speak with VMware about telecom development and deployment of NFV-based platforms. Thanks for watching.
NFV SDN Reality Check with Dan Meyer is a production of RCR TV. To suggest show topics or to reach Dan, you can find him on email, dmeyer@rcrwireless.com, and on Twitter @Meyer_Dan. For more Dan, news on NFV SDN and everything wireless, find your way over to rcrwireless.com.